and that money will go a long way for these women. Some of these elite women, perhaps they've got their own personal sponsorship, they might pick up bigger prize money here, there and everywhere, but there's other women in this field for which that money would make a huge difference, and we saw that in the time trial races with the winners of those races not necessarily being the most elite runners and nonetheless picking up huge £2,000 top prize that went to Erin Wallace and James Young. But here we go for the women's elite A 5k. You have to battle for space on the start line here. Going to be elbows galore. Let's all hope these women get off the start line smoothly. Neve Britton-Hubbard with a pace across their chest. We believe Hannah Nuttall is pacemaking as well. She's just over to the side of our screen. I think she came third in the end in the time trial race, Hannah Nuttall. She's very much back in training after representing Great Britain and Northern Ireland at the World Indoor Championship. She's getting back in her 5k shape, trying to chase down that Olympic qualifying mark. Erin Wallace, the winner of the time trial, is right there, and Neve Britton-Hubbard, I think perhaps finished fourth in the time trial race in the end. So what a trio of pacemakers to escort these women around the roads.
Well, this is a very good workout for them, isn't it? 1k earlier and now pacing. Be interested to see how many laps of this circuit they can get done. It'd be good. It looks like we've got a few more paces as well. Like you said, Hannah, almost all those women from the time trial doubling back here, and they're going to be off the front of this women's 5k to drag them round to a very, very fast time. I mean, the world lead at the moment, 14:13. It would be amazing if we saw that. I believe that's unfortunately because the world record hasn't quite been ratified yet. Is that correct, Hannah? Because the world record stands at 14:19.
I think it is a matter of getting those sort of things ratified, waiting on test results, waiting on course re-measurements and all that like, but 14:13 is just a phenomenal time. By Ngetic in Valencia in January. But, is that Caroline Nyaga already at the front of the race? So she perhaps feels that the pacemakers weren't going as fast as she wanted. She did check her watch. She is wearing a watch. She's wearing that Asics kit as well, but Nyaga has got plenty of experience. If she feels that it's not fast enough, she knows her own body, and she has got ahead of the pacemakers, and the rest of the athletes is just going to blow. This field is going to be blown apart anyway. They're chasing fast times here today.
Oh boy, is that so. Look at Nyaga go then, pouring it on already in lap one. A few others that we should probably mention, Hannah. I'm excited to see how Abbie Donnelly does. Also in that lead group, Melissa Courtney-Bryant is at Verity, Ockenden as well. These athletes have been in around those GB squads for a while, and Donnelly has been dominating the cross country. And it's always interesting to know, well, what does that form translate to? How fast are you operating over 5k and 10k to win these major cross country races in such dominating fashion? And we're about to find out.
We are. So strong running at the front here. I think this is Caroline Nyaga. She's run 30:48 for 10,000 metres, the 12th fastest ever by anybody. And here she is in Leicester running the Podium Festival 5k here, and the prize money will be a draw for these athletes, but also the bonuses on the line. If you run a course record, you get an extra £1,000, and that course record at the moment is with Abbie Donnelly, who's further back in the field at the moment, 15:25, very achievable by this field. And that world record, of course, 14:13. Surely you would.
Well, slight power cut here. We are battling some conditions. The rain threatened, but doesn't look to be raining anymore out there. At least we're tucked inside this commentary booth. Kate Axford leads that chase pack, Hannah. So there's almost a race within a race here as well. I think we're going to have a lot of women flirting with that 16-minute barrier. And someone like Axford, 15:49, I think her lifetime best. I think she can go quicker than that. I think she knows it as well. So she's going to try and give chase. And look, I see someone like Neve Britton-Hubbard, who is due to pace, is kind of struggling to keep up with that lead pack. They are absolutely flying along, and well over a kilometre in sort of 3:20 run, and 4 laps to go.
Nyaga looking very, very strong at the moment. We've got these two athletes in their Nike Elite kit. I'll just wait till we get their numbers so we can correctly identify them, but they have also put themselves ahead of the pacemaker, and they're very, very happy to go with Caroline Nyaga here, very much the headline athlete.
These are late entrants, Hannah. These aren't on the entry list. I was told a few of the agents brought over a few extra athletes just to have a run out here, so I do apologise. I don't think we'll be able to identify them throughout the race, so we'll focus on what you're probably tuning in for, and that is the domestic battles that we're watching here at the Podium Festival. How quick are the likes of Abbie Donnelly, Verity Ockenden, Melissa Courtney-Bryant, how quick are these athletes going to run? They're doing a good job at the moment. I believe Hannah Nuttall and co are still in there pacing their teammates out, but I think they're just showing how quick they are running. It's awfully hard to pacemake these women when we're moving at these speeds. I think we might see a sub 15-minute clocking from some of these British women.
Nyaga is just absolutely flying here, and it potentially, we're going to have to see how long those pacemakers can stay in it. If Hannah Nuttall and Neve Britton-Hubbard can stay in there for a long time, they're going to be able to help those domestic athletes. If not, they're going to be very isolated very quickly, because Nyaga is just torn away from this field. But already we can see the athlete in third place, apologies again, a late entry we don't have the name of, she's drifting back. So if we can add bodies to that domestic chase pack, I think that's very much going to keep their hopes alive. And Nyaga, hats off to her. This is very, very brave running. They're 5 minutes into this 5,000 metres.
Well, she's checking her shoulder, isn't she? 14:35 lifetime best on the roads. That was set in Lille. And you may well have mentioned that already, Hannah, last year, but the African champion over 10,000 metres, and you're no slouch if you get that title. She's got company up at the front. They look relaxed, actually. They put in a real hard surge to kind of drift away, and so often, actually, it has been known that they don't really like to run with much company. They like to run in their own stride as well and find their own rhythm. So it's no surprise that she's surged away from this field and now pausing on, but she's settling a little bit. And do you know what? Those British women actually have these two leading females in their sights at this stage in the race.
We have seen some phenomenally fast running already here today, and just a note to say that the Olympic qualifying standard, I might be getting carried away with myself, but the Olympic qualifying mark is 14:52. Athletes can achieve that on the road or on the track, and some of these athletes could be mighty close to that if they can get close to the 15-minute mark. From a British perspective, we've already got the likes of Jess Judd underneath that time. I think she did that right at the end of the last track season, and you've still got Ailish McColgan might be going for 10,000, 5,000, but what a night that would be if we could get a couple of these women anywhere near that 14:52.
Well, this is one of the reasons that Chris Barnes, the race organiser here, was so keen on getting that World Athletics licence sorted out, because he knew there would be records and he knew there would be qualifying standards here. And also, it's the appeal for a lot of these women to say to them, look, if you do run fast, it will count, it will get ratified, and you can use it as a qualification mark. And yeah, someone like Melissa Courtney-Bryant, no doubt she would have taken to a few races in America, but how nice would it pre-training camp to back that standard?
And there will be a lot of athletes. We've spoken about this event, this whole Podium Festival, being kind of in the wilderness between the indoors and the outdoors and the cross country. A lot of these athletes will have big plans for those training camps. They will have bought their tickets. I know a lot of people are actually flying off kind of in the next couple of days. This is very much their last domestic thing. And there goes Melissa Courtney-Bryant checking her watch. Verity Ockenden just behind. And there is Jenny Nesbitt. What a fantastic indoor season she's had. Kate Axford with that almost surprise bronze at the British Championship. That was brilliant. So coming underneath our commentary position at the moment, Abbie Donnelly and Melissa Courtney-Bryant running stride by stride. Donnelly, such a fantastic cross-country season, like you mentioned, Matt. Does she have the leg speed to complete a 5,000 metres on the road?
Well, I can see in that chase group Jenny Nesbitt, Kate Axford, Megan Davies, Amelia Quirk as well, leading a whole host of women to some very, very fast times, a personal best, no doubt. So, like I say, Ockenden isolated a little bit on her own. Donnelly and Melissa Courtney are able to battle it out, tat for tat at the moment, tit for tat, and going into, well, about coming up to that halfway marker.
That group of Nesbitt, Axford and Megan Davis, that looked very strong. They were just pulling themselves away from the likes of Amelia Quirk. Some of you might be wondering why we're not talking about the front of the race. Of course, we are blown away by Caroline Nyaga and the speed she's putting out here, but we've got a wonderful British domestic battle going on behind these women, and they're going to run some fantastic times all the way through the field. But Nyaga is well over halfway through this race here, 8 minutes on the clock. And she's just working her way through the quieter section. Bit of calm out there. They might be able to relax, catch their breath before they head back to the crowds. Everybody has hung around. It has started drizzling. It has got dark. We are in Britain in March. It's not the nicest evening, but there are plenty of people enjoying the athletics out there.
Well, they really are, and I'll tell you what, if you're Nyaga's coach right now, you're just beginning to worry. You can see the rain just pouring on these athletes around this thing before they turn into the finishing straight, but you're just beginning to worry because she has had this company all race long, and we've seen it time and time again, haven't we? If she can't get a gap, if she can't pull away from this athlete in second place, then she may well lose out in a sprint finish, and that would be an awful shame considering she's come all this way and leading this race gun to tape. She went above went round the pacemaker within the first 500-600 meters or so. And Hannah, they are going to be inside 15 minutes if they keep this pace up. I've got no doubt about that. 9:05 with 2 laps to run, and it's less than a kilometre laps to the track, 976 meters, so comfortably inside 15-minute paces. More, did you see what those British women were just coming through that finishing gantry in?
Around about 9:14, 9:15, I think, for Abbie Donnelly and Melissa Courtney-Bryant. And I was thinking the athlete in third place here, one of the other late entrants, I thought she was fading ever so slightly, that could help Melissa Courtney-Bryant and Abbie Donnelly. They might not need that help. They've got each other. They're very experienced. Those are 2 phenomenally tough competitors. Donnelly, what a brilliant bronze at the European Cross Country Championships. We know she's got so much strength. Courtney-Bryant, bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games a few years ago. So those 2 a bit further down. They're in 4th and 5th at the moment, just bidding to try and break 15 minutes here on the road.
Well, it's almost getting to the point where we just have to enjoy racing for what it is, haven't we? With a lot of talk about time, but I think with the conditions set here, we've got some horizontal rain coming across. The images not really showing that, but it is starting to come down pretty heavy. And Hannah Donnelly, look at this thing. I can't see Melissa Courtney-Bryant. Donnelly has dropped her, and she is closing in on that athlete in third place. And Donnelly might well get amongst the top places here and take home some big cash prizes. Courtney-Bryant, is she doing battle with Ockenden now?
It does look like Melissa Courtney-Bryant has dropped back to Verity Ockenden, those 2 working well. Abbie Donnelly punching forward, just taking a bid for the podium. She is in 4th place at the moment, chasing down the second of these late entrants, the 2 in the orange vest. We do believe they've been entered by their agent at the last minute. We welcome them. And to Leicester, I'm not sure they would have known what they were in store for when they got off the plane or they came from their training camp. But this is Great Britain at its finest in March, a bit of drizzle. And thanks to Chris Barnes and the podium team, this is Britain at its finest on the roads with these phenomenal fast 5Ks. Caroline Nyaga hasn't looked around at all. I wonder perhaps if these are athletes from her agent group and maybe they know each other and there is a bit of etiquette and a hierarchy, because the athlete in second place is not helping at all. Nyaga is checking her watch every now and again, but you've got to feel like the athlete in second place is just chilling and might have a sprint in the last lap.
Well, Nyaga is here representing ASICS also. We know the amount of brands that are on site showcasing off their tech. They would love to see Nyaga win for them as well. I think Hagos Gebriwet is going to be his unveiling for ASICS in that men's elite race as well. So you can go test out the exact shoes that Nyaga's got on feet in the tent here. That was one of the perks of this Podium Festival. But Hannah, this may well be just a slight gap for me. She just looks like she's starting to squeeze things a little bit.
Nyaga has looked brilliant through this whole race. She's been checking her watch. She hasn't been checking behind her. She doesn't seem at all intimidated with the other 2 athletes that are the only 2 that tried to go with this pace. When she approaches the gantry this time, the Land Rover has gone under the timing clock, the lead vehicle. Nyaga will be next underneath, and she will hear the bell. She'll be familiar with this loop. The athletes will have warmed up here. They will have got a good old look at it. So for the very last time, they will embark on a circuit here at the Podium Festival, and they will really work this uphill section down the bottom. They're going to use the crowd, they'll feed off that energy, they'll go into the quiet section, and then they will come home for one massive sprint finish. These 2 have been tied so closely for the race. Can Nyaga, the pre-race favourite, open up a gap in just the last half mile?
I tell you what, Donnelly is having a fantastic run at the moment. We're seeing Ockenden and Melissa Courtney-Bryant go through screen as well, and just a little bit further back, it's Amelia Quirk, Kate Axford, Megan Davies, and a few Spaniards in there as well, a few Europeans in that pack coming over to Leicestershire to nab qualifying spots for, well, potentially Europeans and also Olympic Games. Times are just slipping away a little bit from these athletes. Even someone like Donnelly, I think she's going to be the wrong side of 15 minutes. I say the wrong side, still a fantastic run, but with the pace they set off at, we were getting a little bit excited.
It was an aggressive start, and much of that was led by Caroline Nyaga. She went ahead of the pacemakers with her these 2 athletes for company, and they really haven't looked back. They're just forging on, and here come the athletes past the cheer zone, past all the athletes. So it is Caroline Nyaga of Kenya in the lead at the moment, 2 athletes just behind her, and then Great Britain and Northern Ireland's Abbie Donnelly, the cross-country specialist, who said she was going to run a marathon this spring. That doesn't seem to have materialised. Abbie Donnelly was entered for Seville, and then she just seemed to go the way of the World Cross instead, so maybe Donnelly postponing those marathon plans for a few weeks. She is in 4th at the moment. Courtney-Bryant doing battle with Verity Ockenden further down the line. Look back, the whole string of athletes pouring through the start-finish gantry for the very last time. This is the final women's race. This is the final action we're going to see from our females tonight, and they've been brilliant all afternoon, all evening, and what a way to cap off this event.
£2,500 up for grabs for Caroline Nyaga then. She could not shake that athlete in second place all race long. It would be a cruel way to lose if she does, but she looks strong, Hannah, and she looks like she's starting this kick for home, and it's at a metre that's opened up for the very first time.
Nyaga doesn't seem to be intimidated by the athlete behind her, but I think the athlete looks good. She's bouncing high on her toes. She looks smooth, doesn't look like she's challenged. They're going to pass through the start gantry. That means they've got around about 100 and 150 metres to go. It is $2,500 for the win, an extra 1,000 for the course record, 15:25. That is going to get obliterated. 14 and a half minutes on the clock now. They'll see the finish line for the first time. They're going side by side. Caroline Nyaga, the long-time race winner, finds an extra bit of energy. She's got the extra gear. It is going to be a wonderful win for Caroline Nyaga, but they're sprinting all the way to the line. Every step of the way she loses it in the final 5-10 metres. It isn't going to be a win for Caroline Nyaga. She timed her kick just wrong, and she's been overhauled in the very final metres, but they have dipped under 15 minutes, 14:59. Nyaga looks so full of running. Did she mistime her kick there? Should she have waited just a notch further? Abbie Donnelly coming through for fourth place. The smoke machines are on, the dry ice is out. And Minister Courtney-Bryant out sprinting Verity Ockenden now across the line and around about 15:25 or so.
Look at that. Well, we didn't even need warming up. The atmosphere is so hot down here. The athletes have lit up this track, but how about those firework cannons going off as well? And look, we do apologise. We haven't got the name of the athlete who nipped Nyaga for the title there. It is a very, very late entrant. We weren't past that information on the two athletes in orange wearing the Nike singlet. I believe that's the Rosa organisation. So we'll try and get you them as soon as possible and find out who they are on the results as well. But what a run, and I'll tell you what, the heavens have opened, Hannah, and the fast times we were hoping for in that men's race, I think we could wave goodbye to them. I think it's going to be all about just a race basically, and we just enjoy racing for old sake.
A whole load of women underneath 16 minutes there. What about that? A win at 14:59, a brand new course record. Now that's going to take some beating, but if that can be run in these conditions with the wind and the rain, and also I think when you look across the world, when you look and you try and find a race you want to do at a certain time of year, when something's got a course record like that at 14:59, you kind of go, all right, maybe that's where I should go. And that's how events and build their reputation. So that's wonderful for the Podium Festival event here in Leicester to have that as a course record.
You did right. It's exactly what happens, and looking at the prize money, I think looking at cash on offer attracts a few athletes as well. So look at these images, enjoy them. Athletes still flocking across this